Hello, this is Daryl Ehrlich, and this is the Vietnam Voices, a series of the Billings Gazette sponsored by Master Lube. Today is February 17th, 2016, and I am in studio today with Jose Riojas, and he was with the United States Marine Corps from 1966 to 1970. I'm really excited to talk with him, too, because before the cameras turned on, we found out that our families, he had known my father and my grandfather, and so this is part of the great thing about this series is I get to talk to people who are from this area, who were in Vietnam, and it's been a real honor. And Jose, thank you for coming in. And,
You're welcome.
And thank you for, he's had family members who have said, you should tell your story, and he's going to help tell his story today, and I'm thrilled. So let's begin. What were you doing before the Marine Corps, before 1966? Tell me what life was like before then.
Well, I was 17. My brother and I, a friend of mine and I went to California.
Okay.
Go see what was going on in California. It was in February, colder than heck here, and we spent till May.
It was 50 years ago this month, February of 1960.
Oh my goodness, it sure was. Yeah.
Okay, great. This is I love it when that happens. It suits my purpose perfectly.
Yes, we went to California, and my uncle lives in Sanger. We went to work for pruning and just doing all the migrant workers they were doing over there.
Okay.
And well, fluent in Spanish, and we just went to work there, and my uncle wouldn't tell. I told him not to tell the boss that I was his nephew. I didn't want no special privileges. I didn't want to see what was going on the other side. And we worked till it was over. And then they wanted us to continue to work. They wanted us to drive tractors and everything after they found out that we knew what we were doing.
Okay.
Boys from Laurel anyway. But it was in May, and we had to come home for Mother's Day.
Okay.
I was just about home all the time for my Mom's Day, so we showed up on Mother's Day. Then I turned 18 on the 15th of May.
Okay.
And then I got pulled over by the policeman, Chief Lenhart
Okay.
in Laurel. He's a good policeman. And he told me, he said, "You're a pretty good kid." He said, "But," he said, "if you don't straighten up, you're going to end up in the big house." So he said, "I'd suggest you do something and do about it as quick as you can."
Huh.
Yeah, he said, I was in trouble just about every other day. I was fighting, getting in trouble, drinking, driving, the whole works. And so I said, well, okay. And then my older brother was in the Marine Corps. And so I went in August. I joined the Marine Corps in August. And the buddy and I, him and I went in, a buddy plan into the Marine Corps.
Yep.
Well, they didn't take him because he was colorblind. So he went to the Army. The Army took him. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, then I went into boot camp, and
Was boot camp was everything?
Yes.
Was it in San Diego?
It was in San Diego.
Okay.
It was really, well, I'm being the shortest of the whole platoon now. It was on me. I had to do my own thing.
Right.
Well, I did pretty good. I made PFC out of boot camp, and that was pretty darn hard to do at those times. To come out was a rank out of boot camp.
Yeah.
And I was in physical condition when I went in there. That's what made it.
Did all that work that summer?
Yes.
Hard labor
Oh, yeah.
did that to you?
Yes, all the hard labor I did all my life it just brought up right there in boot camp, and I did pretty good. Me and this Samoan, he maxed it for 500. I had 499. So he got the dress blues and the PFC, and I got a PFC out of it.
Right, that's still pretty good. 499 out of 500. I would take that.
Well, I was the smartest man in the world, but I still can. A lot of common sense. The questions were all common sense, and the physical thing was all common sense. And
right.
We did that. That's how I did it.
So when you joined in 1966, it was I just talked to a vet, probably the one that we did right before this. He was before a judge in Billings, and the judge told him you can go to jail or you can go to the recruiter's office, and he chose recruiters. You weren't quite at that point,
no.
But you took the advice of a policeman who said we're seeing you a little too much around here.
Amen to that. He used to take my keys away from me and she'd come back in the office in the morning and pick them up.
It was a different time.
What are you going to say there? Huh?
Right. So were you worried about, you had an older brother in the Marine Corps. Were you worried about joining the Marine Corps? No?
Nope. I always wanted to.
Okay.
I always wanted to be the baddest shooter in the world.
Yeah. So you go to boot camp. You go through, then did you do advanced infantry?
No, I went straight from ITR. I went straight to Cherry Point, South Carolina. Now, I'm a wireman. My MOS is 2511.
Okay.
Radio man, telephone wire, and all this stuff. They sent me to Cherry Point, North Carolina. That is air wing. What the air wing got to do with me is beyond me.
Okay.
I was there 3 months, 2 or 3 months, and I met this guy, and his wife was going to have a baby in a couple of days there, in just about a week or so,
Right.
and he got papers to go to Vietnam. So I said, I'll take your papers. So I went to the commandant there, and they sent me home. Then they sent me to Vietnam. I landed April 1st, 1967.
Okay.
And
So you
my
took
brother-
some other guy so he could stay,
Yeah, he could
and
stay
stay
and-
and
yeah.
have and at least meet his child.
Yeah,
And have,
yeah. And then he was over later, but not the same spot. But I found out he was in there. But I was flying like I told my brother. I said, when he got out of the Marine Corps in August of '67, I landed in Vietnam in April of '67. So I said we crossed airplanes that was coming through.
Right, the freedom. So when you were you were trained as a radio man and a wireman.
Yes.
Is that how you're trained? So
Yeah.
what is are you trained to run the radio in the field, or is it how does that work?
Okay, well, the radio man is a guy that carries the radio, man. Carries the radio, and it goes anywhere your convoy goes. I moved a lot of convoys, a lot of people, took a lot of troops up and down from Da Nang to Khe Sanh and back. I was a radio man. I was a convoy commander's radio man.
Okay.
I drive the Jeep, listen to him, listen to people over to all 7 radios you have in the back of the Jeep. And you call in airstrikes, call in tank strikes, you call in Medicare, and whatever you got to call in, you call them in. I was their man.
Okay. So let's talk about. So you take that other person's papers. Were you worried about going to Vietnam?
No, I wanted to go.
Okay.
I really did. It was that's what I joined the Marine Corps for.
Right. So you go. Let's talk about flying over to. What was the flight over, and then what was your impression of when you landed in Vietnam?
When I flew over, I landed in Hawaii. They said you could, we could land in Hawaii for a minute, and I could feel the different kind of temperature, different kind of weather. I already knew something was going to happen. Now, we landed in Da Nang April 1st, April Fool's Day, and I tell you, it's been like that ever since. They were having a firefight across the airport when we landed.
Okay.
The airplane took back off, and then he landed. They finally cleared the.
So when they originally landed, they were.
We were under fire.
You're under fire, so they took off again.
Big old airplane. I mean, one of these big old things. They landed, and they took off again because there was the fire. We were getting bullets.
What did you think of on that plane? I mean, here.
This is the way to start.
Right.
What a way to start a
Yeah.
deal,
Yeah.
And you can't jump off the airplane until the damn thing stops.
Right. That's pretty good advice.
My oldest brother always told me, just use common sense. You will make it longer, better, if you use common sense. Anything you can think, you're going to panic. Everybody panics.
Right.
But just as soon as you panic, you trigger that down and figure out what the hell you have to do right quick. See?
Right. Right. Just think. So
Yeah.
slow it down.
Right.
That was good advice.
Yes, very much. I followed his all the way through. Anyway, we landed in Da Nang, and we all rushed out of the airplanes. I mean, all the doors open and inner tubes come out and all that bullshit,
Right.
And we jump in the bunkers. The firefight had been over 20 minutes.
Right.
And we're still in the bunkers, and they say, call us out. Okay, you guys get out,
Right.
And the guys, we're all brand new boots, just
Right.
brand new recruits. We've got shiny shoes on. Everything is looking
Right. You're
good.
greenies. You're FNGs, aren't you?
Yeah, and my goodness, they look and I said, another new set of troops coming in. Oh, man, so we had to go, and they got a designated spot you go, and then they tell you where to go to get to your flights and all this bullshit.
Right.
Well, I got there, and I found where I was supposed to go, and they called. They were supposed to come pick me up, but nobody come pick me up. I was in there for a week at the airport.
Huh.
But when they finally come, I was in front of the commandant of 1st Motor Transport Battalion. The first week, I was in trouble already. They thought I was AWL. I said, no. I said, I've been sitting at the airport.
Right.
And I waited for motor transport trucks, nothing. Nobody, they said, we send them every day. They didn't send nothing over there for me. I saw a lot of boxing matches that I hadn't watched in a long time. But
Right, because that was the only thing that was
on the Armed Forces Network.
So you finally arrived.
Yeah. And they sent me in to meet my my wire chief, the wireman, he said, okay, what do you know? And I said, oh, boot camp stuff and all this. He said, okay. So we started working with him and showing me the route and how to go. I had to lay line, telephone line and telephones in the bunkers. And I had to put sound detectors out in the middle of the field around our battalion area. And then he said, "Do you know anything about radio?" I said, "Well, I do know a lot about the radio." So I took it apart and put it back together again because you know it wouldn't work. I fixed it, put it back. He said, "All right." So you want to be a radio man? I said, "Why not?
Right.
Let's go do something." You know, I mean, maybe I was a little goofy, but I was there to go to Vietnam to see what it was all about, what it was going to be. The weather was nasty. In April, it was just starting, the monsoon season just starting to come through, and you know, so
it's a lot wetter than in Montana, than in Laurel.
Yeah, you've heard that expression on a flat rock. That's what it was all the time over there. But no, and then the first radio I went on as a convoy went to, oh my goodness, just about 30 miles out of Da Nang, and I was pretty darn good at it. I was on a front lead truck, and I was calling checkpoints. They give me a routine map of what your checkpoints, and you call in, and then the guy in the middle calls, and then your convoy commander's listening to it all the time, see what's going on.
To make sure that the convoy's moving through the checkpoints and everything right.
Yeah, and then gunfire or anything like that, you know. But then he said, "You're doing pretty good." He said, "Do you know how to drive a Jeep?" I said, "Well, yes, sir, I do." I said, "You know, I'm a pretty darn good driver, so I was just commandant the Jeep driver for him. You know, you go 40 miles an hour with those big trucks, and you drive past them with a little Jeep. They can run over you just as quick as anything else can, you know."
Right.
You know, so one guy calls in front, you got to go up to the front and find out what's going on. On a guy in the back, you got to go back there and stop, turn your Jeep around, go back, find out what's going on over there, and just left and right. But he's talking to you. You got 7 radios you're listening to in the back, and you're talking to the man. You're talking to your airstriker man, or your control, and you're talking to the Jeep, the commandant at the same time. It takes a little bit of time to get it together, but I did all right.
So what you're saying is you got to be kind of listening to all of them and kind of good at
answering them all.
Yeah, and multitasking.
At the same time,
yeah, and paying attention to what someone's saying and then blocking out what you don't need.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so you're doing this, and it's right. What does it look like up there in Da Nang? What does the country look like? What is the geography?
Well, it was about 8 miles out of Da Nang.
Okay.
A little where our battalion area was. It was quite filthy.
Okay.
I thought it was quite filthy.
In what way?
And a lot of the Vietnamese, they don't have outdoor johns or anything. They just do their thing right there, right down in the middle of the street, out in the yard, whatever, you know. And all you do is find white paper scattered through the whole damn country. And it was quite filthy.
Right. Was it kind of shocking? Did you expect that, or what did you think when you got there?
That really didn't shock me. But the people what shocked me was they were so skinny, and some didn't have no teeth at all. Most of them didn't have any teeth, and it was just, I don't know, it was just kind of felt, the country was, to me, wasn't the greatest country I've ever seen in my life.
Right. So you're transporting people back. Is this troop transport, or are you supplies, or what are you transporting?
Troops. I'm carrying. We carried most we had is 300 troops.
Okay.
And we go to a certain area, pick the people, drop them off, and pick up the guys that come back out.
Okay.
And the wounded, we transfer to the airport, to the airfields.
Okay.
And then we.
So these were people who didn't need necessarily medevac,
right.
Or these were people who could go on a litter and then come back.
Or get them out as quick as you can before you can get so the helicopters come and park somewhere to get the helicopters to get there to us.
Now you're up you're north. Are you in I Corps? Are you in the I Corps?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. So this is almost all Marines, right?
Yes.
Are you just transporting
Marines
back and forth?
We transported some Army.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
They'd come behind us, and our radio operator in the back would holler, say, "We got some Army." We have to turn around, go back, and find who, what, and where, and keep on going, you know.
Right. So was it? So you were doing transport? Is it every day? Was that kind of your job, running radio and driving every day?
No, not every day. Yeah, but every 2 or 3 days. We got another movement. Right before Way City, right before 10 Offensive, we were moving the troops into Quezon.
Okay.
And that was the scary part there.
Yeah. So tell me about that, because this was, as we've had other people tell, and maybe I'm wrong on this. Everybody thought something was going on. No one quite knew what was that.
It was too what was it? Too pleasant.
Okay.
Law before the storm.
Yeah.
We was transporting troops from Da Nang, and we took them into Way City. Before the 10th Offensive, and then the other guys were heading back. They're heading home, so we're taking the transfer of the guys home, and everybody's saying there's something going on. You could feel it. It was the static in the air was just a little bit too strong for anything going on. And right before 10th Offensive, right before the Way City, where they hit on 10th Offensive, right before they hit, we had to transfer 26 Marines. I'm trying to think that was the unit or not. 26 Marines we had to take 160, 170 troops in there. We was in there when the 10th Offensive hit in Way City.
Okay.
And that was probably the most scariest part of my life there.
Okay, why? Tell me, set that up. What was happening?
You have everybody shooting at everybody and everything, and you don't know what the hell you're shooting at. Do you understand
It's
what
just
I mean?
chaos.
Yes, it was, because we didn't know nothing. And we pulled in for the night. We were behind some big bunkers, houses, buildings. We all parked in there. Next thing you knew, everything lit up.
So it was nighttime. So yeah.
So it lit up like a 4th of July, and it was just people, just everything shooting. And so you need a radio man here, you need a radio man there, you need a radio man. I've seen a lot of pictures on my niece keeps trying to find me in one of those. I said I never rolled my sleeves up. Everybody always had their sleeves rolled up on their utility jackets. I always kept them long. I didn't like mosquito bites. Those are the nastiest things you ever find over there. Like they say, sometimes they filled up a couple of them before they found out they were mosquitoes. They filled a lot of there were some big ass mosquitoes over there. And then as we got shot at, we were getting shot at. My whip antenna. I have a whip antenna stands about 10 foot tall off my radio, and that got a bullet through it. So that was not no plinking. That was a sniper shooting at the radio man.
Right.
And that's the scariest I've ever been.
Yeah. So were you behind a bunker? Or
behind the wall.
So they were shooting down at you. He would have been up to do that.
But it was. But like I said, my brother told me, said, you get shot at, you know this coming at you. You know you've been shot at.
Right.
Just settle down just a little bit, relax, suck up a little bit, and just relax a little bit, and then use your common sense. You get away with it.
So what did you do? How did you do that at that moment?
Well, you just stop. And you get down. They're trying to talk to you. The radio is down now. Right. So you need to do an antenna. I have to go back to my Jeep. So I'm running, and I hear my brother saying, "Hey, slow down, take your time." So I'm gonna meander down to my Jeep, get my new antenna, put that darn thing back on there. My lieutenant's hollering at me, "What are you doing?" I said, "I need a new antenna." And he looked at me. "What's the matter? You shot?" I said, "No." "What? Am I bleeding?"
Yeah, because
no. He said, "No." He said, something's wrong." "No, there's nothing wrong." So I went back over there, started communicating with our Ontos. We had little Ontos out there. Just a little aluminum tank, they call it. The Ontos had 3 barrels on each side, 105 howitzers on it. And we were talking with him, and we were pointing where we were getting shots from, and he'd take them all down. But I calmed down. My heart slowed down, my mind quit rattling. Sit there and listen to your radio. The helicopters and your artillerymen and your tank men, they had my intention. Nothing else. I can't hear nothing else except these people talking to me on my phone.
And what was so you're in Way when this starts happening in the city, and what does my question, I can't imagine, what does the radio sound like with all that action going on? What are you hearing on the radio?
What I'm hearing is gunfire.
Okay.
I'm hearing gunfire, the loudest ones was the jets.
Okay.
You could hear the jet
The radio.
radio man in the jet. Those command the whole darn thing. They take over the whole system of the radio system. You listen to them. You could be talking to somebody right beside you, and the radio man in the jet flies over in keys. He shuts those people off, and that's all you can hear.
Right, and you want to listen to them because
yes.
they're going to drop the heavy stuff, right?
They're listening to me. One of them, for a while there, knew my name. As soon as I come over, he already knew who I was. But I don't know. I don't remember what his name was. But you're okay. I got you covered. He said, First Motor Transport's doing it again, huh? Yeah, I guess so. As soon as I keyed his mic and said something, he knew who I was.
That's gotta be. So you're in here, you're getting shot at, and then you hear a familiar voice.
It calms you down a little more.
Yeah.
We called it a lot of airstrikes.
Right. So it starts lighting up, and this is at night. Did they siege it? Did they start the fight at night? Is this
early morning?
Okay.
Everybody, all the Americans sleep at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Guaranteed. Everybody in Way City was asleep, except the guards.
Yeah.
Well, they took the guards on surprise too. I swear, they beat us up for a little bit.
Okay.
Then we finally started taking back over, but they beat us up. They surprised us. They scared us, and we come back up.
So you'd felt that static. Did you kind of feel like when it started, like, oh, this is what it's.
Mm-hmm.
This is what it.
This is where we're at.
Yep.
This is what it's all about.
Yep.
Tie your boots up and let's get it going.
So was it nerve-wracking when, even though you were calmed down? Is it still nerve-wracking because it's got a there's what are you seeing from where you're at? Are you watching firefights?
I'm watching firefights. I'm calling in. I'm talking to the guys that I'm with. I was 7 guys from the convoy. They're designed to protect me. I have the radio. I have their full-blooded attention. They just surrounded me, so because I got their butt in my hand was the radio. If I get shot, there's no more there,
Right.
But they were scared, quite scared. I was scared. I mean, you can't say I was scared, but I was calm scared. I knew exactly what I had to do.
Yep.
And then the next day, following day, it went down. We moved them. Probably about a half a block up. We moved them some more, and we started gathering the troops that had been shot. You couldn't bring a helicopter in there. We had to take them out.
It was too hot, right?
And the mail call come in. I mean, the helicopter was mail come in for us. So I'll never forget this. Everybody, they called my name out, and they grabbed my letter. Who the hell? From Mom. So I opened the letter. There's a draft notice in it from the Army. I'm in Way City in 1968.
With the Tet Offensive.
Tet Offensive.
And you get mail call.
I'm drafted. So I run over to my officer. Him and I were, when we was together, was everybody were yes sir, no sir, but
Right.
And then when we were by ourselves, we were doing Jose in hell,
Right.
I said, sir, I kept hollering at him, what is this? I said, I got to go home. Well, emergency? I said, yeah. I said, he's been drafted in the Army. He said, get your ass back over there. You had to do something into it.
A sense of humor. You got to break. You got to blow off the steam. What was the when you were over there and you had the radio? Do you have a lieutenant with you calling in? And so he's calling in.
He's telling me what to call in.
Okay.
Right.
Was he nervous during?
Oh
that
yeah, very nervous. He hadn't been in any kind of combat at all.
Okay.
And we had to settle him down. We had to make sure that he knew that he was in charge. I mean,
right.
Sometimes, okay, Riojas, you take over. I said, no, you're in charge, sir. I'll do what I have to do, but if I see something you need correcting up, I'll tell you. But you're in charge. You have to do your thing.
Right.
Couple of them, when we took to Anwa, we got a firefight there, and he hid behind the radio. One of them, anyway, I took him back in and threw him in front of the commanding officer. I just about got court-martialed for that, but I had troops I had to take care of, and he was just hiding behind the radio. I could have shot him right there, and I'd have been all right.
Right.
But they sent him to the front line the next day, and I don't know whatever happened to him, but
Yeah.
there was no calm for that. I mean, I know you're scared. I know I'm scared. Jeep full of holes. I'm scared, but you can't do that. You can't let them 170 troops by themselves. They're waiting on your command. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. Yeah, you do that. You gotta face up to that. What's the so after a couple of days, how long did you spend in Hue?
We spent 4 days.
Wow.
And then we went back to Pubai. Yeah, Pubai. And then we started transferring people to Quezon as close as we get to Quezon, because
that was under siege.
They were under siege right away. They were under siege there. We had to go up and get troops, bring them back, take them up. There are a lot of people that got killed in that darn thing, and were just on the road.
Yeah. So what was the road like?
Well, it was like a frontage road.
Okay.
Looked like a frontage road. Some was pretty good. Some was dirt.
But would you get sniper fire? Or how?
Yeah. We had. I was telling you about the army, man. We had 4, 5, 6 trucks behind us, and they joined up, and they had quad 50s, and we were getting fired upon from the ridges. Oh, they were about a quarter mile out.
Okay.
You can see where they're shooting from.
Because you could see the tracers.
Yeah, and they're shooting mortars. They're trying to hit the convoys and the convoys, And we talked to one of the quad 50 guys. He said we can't shoot unless we get permission from our commanding officer. I jumped. I looked at my lieutenant. Lieutenant just took off with the Jeep. I jumped in there, took over the 50 calibers and shot the ridge out for a while there.
Right.
I took over command. I said, "You guys can't do this. This is not right." But they were all aggressive, but they didn't want to get in trouble.
Sure.
Well, get in trouble or get killed. Which one do you want to do? Because that's what's going to happen. They hit one truck, one of my trucks. I lost 36 guys in that truck. They put a motor right in the middle of the back of the truck. Lost 36 guys.
Wow.
No.
That's got to be hard to see. Mm-hmm. I mean, 36. Because are these guys that you knew?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be hard because that's not you saw what war was about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it when you were taking a load of troops? I mean, these are Marines.
Yes.
They're trained as soldiers and fighters. Mm-hmm. They know what they're going to, but are they nervous when you take?
Oh, yeah. Everybody's nervous. Everybody's quiet.
Okay.
Everybody's checking their weapons.
Okay.
I mean, 6 or 7 times.
Right, because what else do you do, right?
Yeah, and then when they coming back, they're hollering and screaming. And they could care less if you get shot at them or not. They weren't green anymore. They were.
Right. Well, and they're probably blowing off some steam that they made it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, phew, we're out of that.
Some of the guys who come in, they look so ragged. My goodness, like they've been out there for a month and only 2 weeks,
Huh.
Yeah, it's ugly. Yeah. It's terrible.
What's the so you're taking them and during the then you have to go back up to Quezon. Is it Quezon or was Anwa under siege?
Quezon.
Quezon was under siege. Was it and so the idea was to get as many troops up there as fast.
Close as you could.
Right.
Yeah.
How close were you able to get?
Well, I got in. Before the siege, we got in. We was in there 3 times.
Okay.
But when we started going up after Tet Offensive, as the Tet Offensive was going, we couldn't get anywhere. We're in 10 miles of Quezon. There was too many NVA. Many NVA.
Was that shocking? Because up until that time, I mean, not that there was an NVA up in the north, but there was a lot of them all of a sudden.
Yeah,
was that shocking to you?
Yes, it was scary because those could. We're talking battalions. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of these people, and they got the best weapons in the world from the Russians and the Chinese, and they could take the convoy out.
Right.
That's so when we get on a convoy, your thing is you keep it to the floor and let's keep on going. You don't stop for nothing unless it's absolutely necessary.
Right.
And you try not to stop.
So if they when they hit that that truck with 36 soldiers, do you stop for that or do you keep going?
We had to stop. We had to stop, and we stopped. Half the convoy kept going.
Okay.
And the other half circled it. We got around it, and got all the people's names and everything like that, and then we turned it around. The truck was still running. The driver got killed. The co-driver was killed, and the rest of the people were in there. So another guy, we just put the driver and the co-driver in the back, and then one of the truckers turned it around and
Went back.
took it back. Yeah.
That's tough.
Oh yeah.
That would be a hell of a drive. Yeah. What was the so after something like that, or after weigh and someone shot at you, shot your antenna off and stuff, you said you calmed down. What did you, after the experience, after 4 days of that, did your outlook on Vietnam, or did anything change? Because I would imagine after I get shot at, or after I spend 4 days in a firefight, my perspective might change a bit. Did
Well,
yours?
the thing of it is, a lot of people that went there, they went there because they didn't volunteer, or they were drafted or something like that, you know. Well, I went in there because it was a job that I thought it was a job. I went in there as a job. I didn't go in there as I have to do this, or I went in there because I joined the Marine Corps. I was fighting for America, and it's my job to do it.
Yep.
I didn't take nothing personal. I didn't.
That's interesting. So someone shooting at you, you didn't take it.
No.
I think a lot of people would probably did take it personally.
They were all, the thing that I always tell, man, you can walk over there and get shot. You know, you can get run over by a truck, or you have a heart attack. Your number's number. When your number's up, its number's up. You could be the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah.
So there ain't no worry about when you're gonna get. You won't feel it when you're dead anyway. So what the hell?
yeah. Did you? What did you miss most? I mean, obviously you're over there and you're like, it's maybe not the best country as you said. What did you miss most about Montana and home?
My mom's cooking.
Yeah.
Oh man.
What most of all?
My tortillas.
Yeah.
Mom used to make some salsa. She would just do that stuff. Oh man. One day when everything settled down a little bit and everything, I wrote Mom, told her I need some salsa. So she sent me 24 little baby food jars of salsa. You know.
Oh wow.
16 of them made it. Anyway, I'd go over there and have some breakfast and then put out my eggs, you know.
Yeah.
And then we had this big guy who just a mean man, mean Marine. Stood about 6'4", 6'5", 260, big old.
Wow, that's a big
badass dude. He was. Anyway, he wouldn't ask or nothing. Put it on his food and just walk off. I wouldn't say a darn thing. No, thank you or nothing. No. I said okay. So I went out to the village. They had little peppers, real little round little peppers. Hottest things I've ever seen. They're
Really?
the hottest things you've ever. I grabbed 5 or 6 of those and ground those up real fine and put it in that salsa and mixed it up, you know. And the next morning, I grabbed a new jar, put it on my food, and put the other jar with a spoon on that. That's the one that didn't melt the spoon, you know. That's how hot it was. And he ate some. They sent him home. I blistered his lips, I blistered his tongue, I blistered his throat. He couldn't breathe. I blistered everything on him. That'll teach him to touch food that doesn't belong to him.
That is one of my favorite stories I've heard in the whole time.
I should have he should have sent me a letter for thank you for sending him home, goddammit.
Right. Did he, so what was, when you weren't moving troops or when you weren't getting fire, what was daily life like in the camp or in the headquarters?
It was kind of boring.
Okay.
But you're always doing the radios, always doing the wire, somebody's always cutting wires, or they're digging holes and it cut your wires up, or wind blowing. We had Typhoon Bess hit, a big old typhoon hit Danang in that area there. I did some wiring for there, and wire for telephone communications. The wind blew so hard that it blew everybody's wire except mine out. 7th Com, the biggest communications division in Southeast Asia, come to our unit to use our phones.
That's a compliment.
Yeah, it was pretty darn good there.
Was it nerve-wracking going out, setting up listening posts? Because you're outside, you'd go outside the perimeter, and then,
like I said, I had 7 guys take care of me all the time. I'm a radio man. The radio man has got preference. They treated me like I treated them, and they were my right hand. I'm their right hand man. I would be watched. They'd be all over the place. I'd be laying. I could tell you how fast somebody's walking, how many people are walking, how fast the car's running, what direction it's coming from.
Right.
As much as I was in that area, at night, that's when you listen to it all the time, and so I could tell you just about what was going on.
What was nighttime like in Vietnam, by the way?
Oh, beautiful skies.
Yeah.
Beautiful skies, but then every once you see a rocket fly over the top.
And ruin the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, during that Tet Offensive there, we slept in the bunkers for 30 days after the Tet Offensive, and I swear them guys were shooting rockets from the other side of the fence into Da Nang. They feel like they're going on right on your lap when they're going right over the top. Man, and you want to get up and go in the bunker. If it was supposed to pick you up, if it was meant for you, you wouldn't have got in the bunker anyway. So,
Right. What's the at nighttime? Are you a target? Are they trying to get you guys?
Well, at night sometimes they try to crawl into the fence. See, they try to get into your fence and try and get. Mostly it's communications.
Okay.
Mostly it's medical supplies.
Okay. Yep.
And I come home. I come home on 30-day leave, and I went back. Our barber, we had a Vietnamese barber. Mm-hmm. They found him hanging on the fence. He was a VC. But just how many times he had his knife, that straight razor around your throat. It always gives me the chills every time I think about that.
So he was by day he was your friend.
Right.
By night he was trying to come back in.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the scary part of it.
Yeah.
I used to come home, and I come home 2 times. And I come home and I sit with Mom, watch the news and watch the deal from over there and all the news and see if I could see my unit. Mm-hmm. Never could see it, but
you'd still watch.
Oh yeah. It was. I went on 6 different R&Rs.
Okay.
Rest and recuperation.
Right.
Bangkok, Sydney, Australia, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, Singapore, Malaysia. 2 times to Singapore. It was just.
How was that
beautiful,
kind of? Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's the nicest, cleanest country. If you got out of the zone, then it wasn't as clean, but
still nice country.
Oh, beautiful country. I got to see the China Wall.
Huh.
There was a hill right outside of Quezon, or they had their bunkers up. I was up on top there. I could see the China Wall way, way down there.
Huh.
Yeah, and I said, "Wow, that's it." And I swear I seen it. You get up there, and I keep. Everybody says you couldn't have seen it. I said, "Damn it, I saw it. I know I saw it."
Huh.
It's just a big old line, this thing.
Right, and that gave you an idea of where you were in the country or in the world, very close to China.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Was it? I get the sense that the morale among the troops there was pretty good, though.
Well,
right?
yes, you had to. We had a lot of USO shows come in, but the guys sometimes they need an event. They had to do something. You can't just keep them in a little corner and say, "Okay, stay there till we need you."
Right.
So they sent us on different trips, different modes. Going towards Chulai. We never made it to Chulai. I was sent there one time with the troops. Never made it to Chulai. Had to turn around and come back.
Why?
Well, right about 8 miles out of Da Nang, there were mine sweeping.
Okay.
They were mine sweeping the roads. A bus full of 130 people on a bus passed us. And about 2 minutes into the passing, they blew up. They had mined the road 27 miles from where they stopped us. 27 miles, all mines.
Wow.
That everybody in their bus got blown away. Their pigs, chickens, their whole thing, all gone.
Wow.
We had to turn around and come back.
And now mines, because you were a driver, mines were a real concern back there, right?
Yeah.
So you were taught. How were you taught to avoid mines while driving in Vietnam?
Just think, if you're you have the marine sweep. There are the mine sweepers. They're God sent people they sweep your roads, and they do there. But you never get off the road. You stay in the center of the road. Anything coming from the other side has to stop and wait for you to go by. You never get off the road. I just killing you right there,
Right.
And you see different things, use your imagination, what somebody could do, and that's what we do. Find one where my first my first shot out of BC, we had stopped. The convoy had to stop, and Tucker was the driver. Looked in the rice paddy, you see a hair, looked like a hair, stretched all the way across the rice paddy. And I'm looking, I said, nah, I can't see. Kept looking again. And once all the wind would blow it, and the rice paddy would open up, you could see the line, the wire going through. Wow! So I called the convoy commander, and what is it? I said, I think I see a mine line, a line. He said, what do you mean? Look at. He couldn't see it. I grabbed a rifle and shot. Oh, okay, I see it there. Wow! And then they see a little Vietnamese take off running across there. I'm about 100 yards away. Well, I shot him, and anyway. And that didn't affect him for about 3 hours. We got into Phu Bai, and wow! There was a 300-pound bomb underneath in front of the truck, about 20 yards in front of the truck where the wire went. We were parked here, and the bomb was right there.
Wow.
Wow, then it hit me, and I started shaking. I said, my goodness, slow down. Had to figure out something. And then that settled down and did all right. Then
yeah, but it's kind of, it doesn't hit you till afterwards.
Yeah,
I've heard that several times, that then you get to thinking about it,
wow.
and that could have been,
that
could have been me.
Yeah.
Was it hard, did shooting back, I mean, it's one thing to get shot at. Mm-hmm. Did returning fire, was that a hard thing to do?
No.
No?
Nope.
Yeah, because once you just go into automatic mode?
Right.
Yeah. What's the when you're over there? Are you you get mail from your mom family? Mm-hmm. Do you write letters back?
Yes.
What do you tell them about Vietnam?
Oh, nothing. I don't tell them what's going on. No. Just tell them miss the home and miss everybody, and wish I was home to have some good food one of these days. And tell them we're gonna get home. We're gonna
have good food.
Sit down and.
So what was food like in Vietnam? Was it all sea rations?
Sea rations. We got 1948 sea rations. World War II sea rations we were eating, and then they had the chow for the chow hall there.
Was it any good?
Yeah, the food. It was enough to keep you alive. That's all you could say.
Right.
But no, I don't know. Some of the sea rations was better than the food in the kitchen, but
What was the area around? Now you're up north. What did the area look like? Was it hilly? Was it mountainous? Was it jungle? Was it flat?
Mostly plains.
Okay.
But it had some hills, probably about 8-9 miles away. That's where the BC would get up and shoot the rockets into Da Nang. It was 15 miles to Da Nang. They shoot in there. Then they had that big old airport behind us. The
Da Nang airport.
The main airport there, and then they had we had a military airport back there. The B-52s would land in there. One blew up one time. My goodness, we were on guard that night. We had a roadblock that was in a tank. B-52 tried to take off right at the base of the flight deck. It blew up. It lit up the sky for about 9 hours. Every bomb in the world that was in it blew up. It was just terrible.
Wow! So it didn't make it.
It just blew up bad. It was. They don't know what brought it down. A bomb might have rolled and blew up or something, but they just didn't make it off the runway.
Wow!
And holes all over the place. We had to back away. It was just miserable.
Huh. Wow. So you also saw those kind of casualties too, Yeah. What was it like? What were the jets? Now you were calling in jets. What was it like getting firepower from the jets?
Well, nothing. It's when you call in these guys, you can throw green smoke when they know where they have to put it at, and it takes. These guys are good. They were my heroes. Mm-hmm. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
We counted on it.
Yeah. Was it nerve-wracking to call them in because they had to be precise because they could?
No. Well, if you knew, I had all the confidence in the world in the guys. I always did. I had all the confidence in the world that they knew where we were at.
Right.
They might have not, but I had all the confidence they did.
Right.
And then we had the Puff. I don't know if you heard the Puff.
Yeah.
Magic Dragon.
Yep.
I called in them. They were about 100 yards away from me. I called it in.
Huh.
And they put it every square inch in that area. Everything was gone. You know, every square inch is a bullet hits, shooting a 308.
Yep.
So it's just a red mark coming down the sky, and every
I've
other
heard
one
that,
is,
just like a cascade of fire.
Every other one is a tracer, and I see red coming down.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
What was when you were over there? So you missed food from home, and then I know a lot of guys talked about when they get back to the world, they were going to do that. What were you going to do when you got back to the world?
I was going to sit in a river for a while.
Yeah?
In the Yellowstone. That's all I want to do.
Just sit in the Yellowstone.
Sit in the Yellowstone River. That was my river.
Yep.
You know, and wet, wild, and dam free. And that's what it was all about. My goodness, you don't know the swamps, the rice paddies, the lagoons we'd see. My goodness, I wouldn't stick a stick in there, and my damn stick might bite you. You know, it was just ugly. There was something would grow in that damn thing. Let me tell you, it was just like I said, filthy. To me, it was a filthy country.
Yeah.
But I'd get in the Yellowstone, just sit there in the Yellowstone. And I did. Then I come home. I did.
You did.
Yeah. I even when I got home, and let me see. Oh, come on. I got August. Heck, I went January. I got home in January. I went and my brother and I went and broke ice in the river and stuck my hands in there. I had to get
Just
the feel
feel
of it. Yeah.
Oh, that's a great story. Just to come home and
Yeah.
do that. What was when you were ever over there? Was it whether it was in Way or somewhere else? Did you ever think I might not be able to stick my hands back in Yellowstone?
No, sir.
Okay.
I had great confidence in me and the man.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
Huh. What about? So let's talk about when did you catch that freedom bird home? Let's talk about Lee's.
Okay. Yeah, I got from there August of '69, I think it was, and we landed El Toro. I'll never forget that.
Why?
They had people jeering us, throwing shit at us, throwing water balloons that filled with urine, calling us names. And
were you surprised by that?
I seen it before. Well,
Okay.
the first time I come home.
Okay.
But I figured somebody just wake up and say, it isn't our fault we did it for the government. We did it for you guys. And yet they were doing that to us.
That must have been hard,
Oh, yeah.
especially after you saw guys not come back.
Right? Yeah. And then they're doing that stuff to us.
Yeah.
That wasn't any good. That's why I didn't want to tell my story. Because nobody gave it that before. Why did they now?
Yep. Do you think people's attitudes have changed?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
What was the reception like? Then did you fly from El Toro to Montana?
Yeah.
Or, I mean, what was the reception? Was there a similar reception in Montana? or did people-
No, there wasn't. My mom, they could have been. I don't know. I remember my mom. They were brothers and sisters.
And your brother had already been.
Yeah.
Your brother was back.
Yeah.
So he understood.
Oh, yeah.
What about your mom? Did you get that home cooking?
Oh, man. Yeah. Whole bunch. Oh, yeah. Every morning, every afternoon, what do you want to eat? And I'd tell her, and she'd make it up right quick. Yeah, it was the way it was supposed to be.
Right.
But
Right.
like I said, when we come home, who cares what everybody else thought? My parents and brothers and sisters are there, and my mom's there, and my dad's there. That's all that counts.
So you haven't really told your story a whole lot.
No.
Do you? Now let's also talk. I'm asking a question I know the answer to, but that's part of what my job is.
Go ahead.
Let's talk about. Did you come back home? You didn't come back home injured. Did
No.
you have no?
No.
But let's talk about long-term effects.
Well, I was
You
drunk
had-
for 30 years.
Huh?
Would that work? I was drunk for 30 years.
Well, you're drunk for. Was that running away from anything? Was that Vietnam?
I figured that's what it was. After about 8-9 years ago, I figured that's why I was drunk like time, all the time. I had to use a crutch,
Yeah.
you know.
And it worked.
Oh yeah,
Alcohol's a good crutch.
I made a lot of trouble. Got it two DUIs. I mean, you know, a lot of trouble. But and I realized what was causing it. You know, and I've slowed down a whole bunch considerably.
Yeah.
And now I got diagnosed with I got Agent Orange, got heart disease and sugar diabetes. I'm 80% disabled.
Okay.
I can't work, can't do a damn thing. Then had a heart attack 8-9 years ago. They opened me up. So here I am, still alive, making noise, but.
Well, you are, but we've talked to several other veterans here who have talked about Agent Orange, and so they thought they were getting out of Vietnam unscathed. They weren't going home in a coffin, so they considered themselves lucky. But then they learned later on that what they were exposed to over there may be coming back to get them.
Yeah.
Is that tough, or how does a guy who's dealing with that look at it now?
Well, I look at it now that my brother passed away too. He had Agent Orange. He had cancer.
Okay.
He come home with that. And then he passed away 3 years ago, something like that. And I never asked the government for anything. Never in my life. I never asked for anything. But everybody kept, my niece especially, she kept telling.
Wendy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She kept telling me, you get in there and just get this paperwork done. So I finally sent some papers in and they denied me. And I tore them about halfway and half. I said, yeah, I'll just hold on to it. And I showed them to her and she says, and then she wrote a letter and I got the response, send us your medical records. So I go to St. Vincent's, and I said, I need a medical records. Okay, you want it on a disc or paper? I figured, well, a disc, you know.
Okay.
I said, I'll take paper. Are you sure? Yeah. A week later, I went down and got 500 sheets. I had to send to them, you know.
That's a lot of paper.
That's a lot of paper. Now, if I send a disc, you know, it'd be just one
just
disc.
one disc. But this has a good effect.
Yeah. 500 sheets of that damn thing. They sent it to them. Okay, I got 13 stents in me now.
Wow.
And but then they come back 218 days after they got the paperwork. They said, okay, then you have heart disease, and the heart disease causes diabetic. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm riding it. I don't know how long it's going to last. You know, it's
right. What is it? Is it? Are you angry about it? The Agent Orange?
I have no idea. I don't know. Yeah, I can't. Well, I can't do what I used to, but I'm old enough to say, well, I shouldn't have done that anyway. But no, I don't know. I'm angry, yes, in a way, you know.
Yeah.
But I can't. You can't do nothing else about it. You can cuss and scream and holler and tear pieces of paper up, punch the wall. What they're going to do is just hurt your hand.
That's a good way of putting it. What was when you got back? Did you? I mean, you said you did drinking and stuff, but did you just get back to life, or how did people treat you different, or how did that work when you got back?
I don't know.
Okay.
The first year when I was home, I didn't do nothing. I drew my unemployment checks at $54 a week.
Okay.
I didn't do nothing. I didn't work. Well, I did a little ranch work. Did mostly fishing and drinking for a whole year. I could not tell you what happened. I don't know. I know my brother and I used to go through town and everybody would step aside, you know. But other than that, I don't remember the first year. And maybe, you know, I don't know. I mean, I thought maybe everybody else did the same thing, you know.
Right. Right. But you didn't talk about it. No one wanted to hear the stories.
No.
Is that right?
No. And then, well, there was 4 of us that were in the service. 2 brothers in the Army and 2 of us in the Marine Corps, you know.
Wow.
2 of them were in Germany during the Vietnam conflict, and brother and I in Vietnam. But, you know, we was, we made Ma proud. That's what really counted.
Yeah. Did your brother and you ever talk about Vietnam, your experiences?
Yeah.
Did he have some of the same experiences?
Yeah, you know, he had worse. He was in one of the first Marine divisions that landed in Chulai offshore. He was one of the Marine, 2nd Marine Division. 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines. Anyway, he was in there. He was first short battalion.
Okay.
He landed helicopters in and the whole works. And he's seen a lot of stuff. A lot of guys. He went in with a lot of guys into the back country, and only him and 13 or 14 other guys come back out. So
Wow.
you know, he come home with a PTSD real bad. And every night he'd call me and I go talk to him. We go sit and talk. Every other night, he'd have a couple more beers, or he'd see something that he'd pick up from behind, and then so I had to give him. His wife would call me. Can you come down? Yeah, be right there. There.
Yeah, it just never left him.
No.
Did you have those same kind of memories?
No, he took it personal. I did not take it personal. I took it as a job.
But you were never. So he gave you the best advice, but you couldn't give him that. You couldn't say, "Hey, don't take it personally," because it did.
It's already penetrated. You couldn't get it out of him. It was.
That was hard. That must have been hard to see because you knew what he was going through, but yet it wasn't the same.
Yeah, I couldn't. All I could do was help and listen.
Yeah.
And sit and drink with him, and listen. You know.
Right.
Share lives with each other till we got, you know.
Right. That couldn't be that couldn't be right.
But we sit there and talk for hours and hours.
And he was older than you?
Yes.
A couple of years older.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was when you came back? Did people think you had changed, or did people say much about it?
No, they asked me where I've been.
Okay, so they didn't necessarily know.
I don't know if they did or not. Well, they realized I did after a while, but a lot of people didn't know where I was. They thought I was in jail or something.
Right.
No.
Right. Well, it could have happened, I
Yeah.
suppose. You talked about some, Vietnam was tough on you, not only kind of mentally and physically. I get that. Were there good things that Vietnam taught you?
How to shoot a rifle.
Okay.
How to talk on the radio. No, I don't know. You're responsible for what you do.
Okay.
There is nothing else. You're responsible for what you do, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You know, you can't take it back.
Right. Would you do it again?
Yes, in a heartbeat.
Okay. What about, so looking back now, because I did the math, I should have, 50 years ago this month is when you started this.
Right.
How do you see Vietnam now, older with more life experience, and has it changed over the years?
How's it changed? Well, they're just here, what, a week ago they're going to have a summit with the Asian countries now.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't care what they do.
Right.
Makes never mind to me.
Right.
If we're going to do it, I guess we're going to do it. You can't tell anybody no.
Right.
Can't tell the government no because I don't believe they should. No, they're going to do it. It's already done like that.
So did you? How do you view the Vietnam War now? Do you view it any differently, or
no?
How does it look 50 years?
Well, I still say they should have let us go and keep going instead of just taking and then letting them have it back, and then we have to go take it again. You know, there was a lot of those, like a lot of battles like that. Like Hill 88. Yep. We took it 2 or 3 times, and then we just give it right back to them, and they get back up there, and we had to go take it again.
Now, when you were doing that, was there any conversation with the troops, like, what the heck are we doing here, or did you talk about that, or how did that manifest itself in the day when this was happening?
Their guys had, you know, they started coming out with the Chicano power and the black power and white power and all this, you know, all this stuff there. But that was just, I think, the way them guys were doing it to get their mind up what actually was happening. You know, and it just started to get so stupid. My goodness, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Well, and to take somewhere and then to give it back up and to have to take it again, that must have been...
It was devastating. It was, my goodness, what the hell? We lost all these people. Now we got to go back and lose some more. Because the government says, you have to take it again. For what? It wasn't strategic. There wasn't nothing, no gold up there, no oil or anything in that area. Right. At least I didn't think there was anyway. But, you know. Yeah. It's just like, you know, fill the bathtub up and drain it and then fill it up again.
That's a great analogy.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. What about, I was going to ask, when you were over there and you were in these battles and firefights. Did you talk about what is our goal? What are we fighting for? Was there any talk like that? Like what?
Well, the guys and I, we was together. It was our convoy, our trucks, our bodies in those trucks.
Okay.
And that's what we were responsible for.
Mm-hmm.
Is our trucks, our people in the trucks.
Mm-hmm.
We have to get them back to this situation, back to this country, this area. There was nothing else, nothing looking forward to anything else except keeping our boys and our trucks away from everybody else.
Okay.
That's all. That was our personal.
That was you had a very narrow.
Yes.
This was your slice.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what do you when you one of the reasons we're doing this, one of the reasons that I'm doing this is I want people to be able to remember what Vietnam was like. I want them, and not that there's anything wrong with history books, or not that there's anything wrong with histories from a military perspective or that, but I want them to hear from people who were in Montana, who lived here and know the same places. So what do you hope that people, when they look back after you and I are gone, what do you hope they remember about Vietnam, or what do you want them to remember about Vietnam from a guy who's over there?
The thing is, we lost 58,000. And we don't want them to be forgotten.
Yep. Yep. Is that why you're doing this today? I sense that.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's I think that's a really important point that so many of our folks, of our veterans, have talked about, and I appreciate that. What else? We've talked a lot. What about your story, Jose? Have I missed?
I listened to the moon landing when I was at Air Force. I mean, in Da Nang.
Can you tell me? Okay, I want to. That is something that we haven't. I've had people talk about what it was like with Kent State.
Yeah.
I've had people talk about watching the riots in '68, but I haven't heard about moon landing. I want to hear that.
It was so cool. It was. I'm trying to think of what time. It was. We was at the EM Club. It was Thursday or Friday night, and we had some beer there. So then to come over to radio, they were going to land on the moon any second now. So we all ran to the EM Club. We were watching it, and the announcer on American Forces, he just turned it over to Houston, and they were listening to Houston. Oh man, that was just so awesome, And then the guy landed. I don't know if it was a simulcast or it was real, but we were watching the capsule, kind of see all the dirt flying, all that stuff, and watching that thing. I'm like, look at this, guys! Somebody landing on the moon. I mean, go outside, look out there. Somebody's landing on that damn thing, Just look at that. It was just totally unbelievable.
And here you were a half a world away from America, and yet it must have been a great feeling and an amazing kind of.
Yeah, it was just so awesome. And then when a man comes out and says certain steps and all this stuff, man, and then when you get to shoot a red flare in the air, that means you're being overrun. In Vietnam, all the troops had red flares with them,
Right.
And when they landed on the moon, the whole country was red. Everybody firing those red flares. That was just unbelievable. That was just. I can say I saw that damn thing.
Huh. Yeah. And you remember where you were.
Yes. I was with the guys.
Was that a morale booster?
Yes, it was. It did. It kicked it for about a month, 2 months. Looking good. Everybody pointing up in the sky. Out there.
Yeah. Yeah. When you weren't busy, what were you doing to pass the time in Vietnam?
Learn how to throw a knife, throw an axe, mechanicking. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was ways to keep busy.
Oh yeah, there was. And then there were times when you knew you didn't have nothing to do for a couple, 3, 4 days. So go sit in the EM Club. And
have beer too.
Yeah. Well, not just 2 or so, but it was just quite a bit.
Was there any good beer over in Vietnam?
There was Carling Black Label.
Okay.
And Pabst.
Okay, so you can get a PBR.
Yeah. But Carling Black Label, I tell you, even if it has been in the heat for 3 or 4 weeks in a can, in a big old boxcar. Then they bring it to you, throw in a bit of ice, let it cool down just until the metal is cold. They drink that damn thing. That's how it works. That worked.
That worked.
Yeah.
That worked. Well, that is that's great. What else? What else of your story? I anything else that I've missed?
No. You've been actually. You settled me down a little bit. Kind of. I thought I was going to start, getting stupid.
You haven't got. Well, I want to say, one of the reasons I wanted to do this, is because of these stories. And you, Jose, have had amazing stories, and I want to thank you for your service. And I want to say thank you for sharing, because you can think of. I'm a journalist. I can plan projects all day long. But I couldn't have done this project without you coming in and sharing your story. And so I thank you.
Well, thank you for having me.
And thank you for your service. It's honestly been a great honor for me to sit here and hear your story. And thank you for being willing to share. I know it's not easy. I know that these memories aren't easy. But I'm darn proud of your service, and I'm darn proud of your story. And I'm honored to be the one to help get to share it. So this has been Daryl Ehrlich. I have been with Jose Riojas. He was in the U.S. Marine Corps from 1966 to 1970, and it's been an honor for me to be here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Good day.